Design tools, how have they changed over the years? From like 78 when you started, were you still doing the tape on the film?
Yeah, we were using Rubylith and board layout that way, and then it transitioned.
Doing it by hand?
Doing it by hand with Rubylith and the little coupons you put down. For
for the IC, for the dip packages and stuff.
Yep, and now it's all on a computer, and it does all design rule checking. You put in all your constraints, all your safety spacings, all your transmission lines, all your ampacities for all your tracks, and it checks everything.
What have been the major advances in the development tool? There'd be one where you switch from the tape to a PC for laid out boards, and then
so it happened in multiple steps.
Yep.
It went from the Rubylith to where the one tool we had was you would draw everything in pencil and then use a giant digitizer.
Right.
To enter it. You'd still draw it in with pencil, but then you digitize it into the computer.
Digitize it instead of... Why? Because that was more efficient at the time?
They didn't have the graphics technology in the computers. It wasn't as far advanced to now where you can use a mouse and just click and pop tracks in. But one of the things that I still, to this day, I'm still impressed by, you take this tool and you'll have, say, 20 traces that are minimum spaced, and you have to get a 21st trace through. And you want it to go down the middle. And you take your mouse and you drag it through the middle, and all the tracks, they move out of the way. To this day, I still get goosebumps watching it.
It's magic.
It is magic. It still is. Because what that used to take before was you had to
rip them all up.
Well, you have to move this one, move this one, move this one, and then you'd have enough space and run it through. And then I have to run a 22nd. And you have to do all over again. It's just, you know, the auto plow it's called. It's just it's still scary cool.
What tools are you using internally to develop products like this? What PCB tools? What simulation tools? What?
So that was actually PC tools. One of the things that was interesting is we had different people in the company 10 years ago using different tools. About 80% of the company was using a tool called Design Architect, was from Mentor product.
Oh, okay.
And that was a good tool, but it didn't serve everybody's needs the best. So today we're on their newer updated tool called Expedition and DX Designer, and now we've pretty much gotten everybody 100% onto the same tool. And for someone like me whose job is to move designs from group to group, that's invaluable because I can take a PC design, a circuit design, whatever it is that someone did, and give it to someone else, and it just works. We have a Common Core database for all our parts throughout the company with all the coupons for all the parts. If anybody sets up a part, anybody else can just grab that part and drop it onto a board.
Got it.
And the layout tool actually has the full corporate database right in the schematic capture. So you can just say, I need a resistor 0.1%, 5 ppm. It says, well, here's the 8 different parts, different power levels, and you just grab it and drop it into your design. So it's our corporate tool group is really, really amazing people.
And that's all part of your efficiency job title. Efficiency in terms of, or is that a production?
No, we have a group. I'm not directly involved in that. I take no credit for the things they've done.
Okay.
They've done that without any of my help. They've just done an amazing job. It's really one of the enablers for us to get more efficiency, though. I appreciate the fact that it's there. My job was to demand that we all use the same tool and get on board. And if there's a problem with you getting on board, I would help arrange training and help people convert over to it, their designs, because trying to move, we have some older designs that I'm trying to leverage into new stuff, and if it's in the old tool, we have to do what we call a gerber copy, where they put the gerbers for the board layout and then trace all the new traces.
No, no, that's but you have to do that. Sometimes. Right, okay.
Simulation is still not common in terms of a standard tool. We have different people like different simulation tools. We obviously sell.
So you leave it up to the individual designer to use their tool of choice, or
depends on what work you're doing. We make we make the premier RF design tool in EEsoft that all the RF guys use, and it's used universally by all those folks. You couldn't really do their job without it because it includes the board layout. They use a different board layout package for them because it includes the characteristics of the RF or the board's part of the circuit. And then the rest of the people use things like Cadence, Allegro is used. A lot of people, frankly, use Tina and LT Spice for simple stuff because it's free and it's tied into the parts quickly. So you're just trying to do a simple like filter or something like that, you'll just use that. One of the things that our power group is actually really focused on is a tool called Sabre by Synopsis. It's a very, very powerful mixed signal simulator that can do the digital feedback and the analog interactively.
Wow, that's powerful.
And it's a very expensive tool compared to some of other simulators, and it's more complicated to learn how to use, but when you're starting to do some of this mixed signal stuff, you really can't do it without it. It's essential.
You can't do it. It would be impossible, or it would just be so laborious that...
We've done it without it, but it's much more difficult.
Right.
And there's a couple others. Simplest, I think, is one of the other big competitors for that. And of course, Matlab and Simulink. We do some stuff in Matlab and Simulink as well. A lot of people use that, but for Sabre, it can actually do the SPICE kind of things with digital feedback.
Oh, wow. Geez, that's... How would you even begin to program something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, and
That's crazy.
it's about $20K a seat
Right.
per
Okay.
year.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And the good news is because we have people all around
Yep.
the world, one seat serves multiple places.
Oh, it does. Okay, right. So as long as they don't use it at the same time, you're
That's
good.
right.
You can
Believe
transfer
it,
the license.
we have a big operation in Penang,
Yeah.
and Penang is 12 hours different from the U.S.
Yep.
So, or depending on if you're Colorado, it's I guess 10 hours,
Mm-hmm.
but it works out perfect that we can buy one license and get two groups to use
Yep.
it.
How difficult is that time gap? Are you always flying there? Do you have?
I go about
do the
3-4 times
designers-
a year,
Yep.
and I spend, I'd say, 4 nights a week on teleconferences at 9
Oh,
o'clock.
4
at night.
nights. 4 nights a week.
Yeah.
I'm
But I get to
Wow.
get up late, so I don't have to get up early.
Right.
But not. We try to
Right.
minimize the number of people who have to do that.
Yep.
Because it is disruptive. Not everybody
Yeah, no,
likes it.
totally.
I enjoy it. I do a lot of trips over there, and I run a couple projects over there for the low-cost power
Mm-hmm.
products. I enjoy it very much. The great group of people, and I think for the longest time they were kind of treated like a little bit less. And
Got
I
it.
don't think they ever deserved that. But
Yep.
that was our manufacturing.
Yeah,
is
it's
the-
like it's the dirty part of engineering.
And the fact is, they're critical for us to be effective is to
Yeah.
meet our cost goals against some of these new competitors coming in. They're as strategically important as any part of our company. So you mentioned tools before. We really didn't touch upon firmware and software tools. And one of the things that the company is really focusing on right now is standardizing on our software infrastructure and our
Right.
firmware infrastructure. So we've been a Windows CE house for many years.
I was going to
And-
ask about CE.
Microsoft
Yep.
is sunsetting Windows CE.
Ah, right.
And I never heard of this before, but evidently Microsoft will not let us buy a bunch of licenses and keep shipping after the deadline. They will not let us ship the product after.
Wow, they will stop you from. They'll sue your ass.
We
if
can't
you-
ship any product with
Wow.
Windows CE 6 after 2021, and we can't ship anything with Windows CE 7 after.
Doesn't this have Windows CE?
Correct.
Whoa, what are you going to do?
I can't tell you what I'm going to
Okay,
do,
but-
trust us that we're going to take care of it. Well, one
but
thing
you
is
currently-
we can switch to Windows CE 7, which is very similar to 6.
Oh, okay.
And we're looking at
Oh, sorry. So it's just they're not discontinuing CE. It's a version difference.
right now when they came out with Windows
right.
CE with 8. It's not called 8. I think it's called something else, but
Right.
it's different enough that we're not probably going to continue with that. We're going to do something different.
Ah, you'll have to. You think it's worthwhile to switch?
Yes, well, Microsoft does certain things really, really well.
Yep.
So, for example, they know how to make a thumb drive driver, so it works with every thumb drive. They know how to do LAN, so it works really well.
Yep.
But for us, what we found is that they're very inscrutable to get performance out of it. It's very large and bloated, and we don't have enough control. So we're looking at alternatives that are more effective. Also, the processors today, when you buy them, don't come with Windows CE support. So that costs us a very pretty penny to have support for Windows CE developed for these processors.
Oh, you have to get them developed if you want to use a.
So, like, for example, when you buy Windows
Yeah.
CE support for a lot of the low-end embedded processors, it's mainly because we paid people like Adenao and others to do it, and then they get to sell it to other people.
Ah, got it.
We paid all the cost. and everybody else gets
Wow,
the
and
benefit.
they get the benefit.
Not a pretty sight.
Interesting. Wow.
Whereas today, if you get a processor, they all
Yeah.
come with Linux support, for example.
Got it.
So Linux is one of the things that we're looking at very seriously. There's a couple of other RTOSs that we're looking at for low-end products, but CE is, we're looking at sunsetting that. It's been a struggle all throughout. Like I said, there's been some good things and some not so good things. One of the things that we get a lot of negative feedback on is boot time.
Yes.
For
Yeah,
example.
it's important. Yeah.
People accept it, but they
Right.
don't like it.
Yep. Yep,
And that's
totally.
something CE has been very difficult to get good boot time.
It's a differentiator when I'm reviewing a product. If I'm reviewing a new scope and it boots up in 5 seconds, that's a wow factor,
Yeah.
right? As
Well, it's
opposed
also the
to,
analog. That's what you had.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Just
right.
hit the
Yeah,
on-off switch and
exactly.
then-
On, off, and boom. It's good to go.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so you are focusing. There is
Well,
some focus on that.
There's absolutely some focus
Yep.
on that. In fact, this team, when they developed this product, they took 2 of our best firmware guys and they went off in a corner for 3 months and they
Yeah.
did a lot to optimize it because it was over a minute when it was first developed.
Well, yes, I remember. I got one of the early ones, I think, firmware releases, and you halved it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That took 2
Yep.
of our top firmware people
Wow.
like 3 months to do that.
Wow,
It's,
really?
It's not easy. And they could have done more, but it would have required an even more invasive change to the code, which would have raised a lot of risk. You can do what's
Right.
called a hibernate mode, and you basically take where the thing was at when you turn it off, copy it,
Got
and then reboot it like a laptop
Yep.
does. But Microsoft doesn't make it easy.
Interesting. With Linux, do you use an industry build, or do you find that you just have to maintain your own branch of it or something like that, so to
So
speak?
since we don't have any products out yet, I can't go into a lot
No,
of detail on that.
but if you had to, would If
generally
you
speaking,
did end up
you want
using it,
somebody
would you?
who's going to be able to support that product and
Yep.
make sure that they take care of their part. And also,
Got
there's
it.
some issues with licensing that you really need them to do that.
Ah,
Linux. Linux has got some strange copy issues with that we have to be very careful about.
right. Interesting.
Because open source code can be terrifying. You may have to publish all your code,
Yeah.
your internal code, including your code.
Including the product code,
We don't-
every line of the product
That's-
code.
We're not doing that, obviously.
Right, okay.
But there have been some
Yep.
very famous situations. One of the most famous was Linksys made a router,
Yes, right.
WRT54G, and they used open source Linux, and they didn't realize that they had to publish it after it came out, and then they
Yep.
were forced to release all their internal code, and several people have made pretty good money coming up with modifications to their
Yes.
code, like
Yep.
Open WRT and things
Yeah,
like that.
that's right. It runs on that particular
Right,
unit.
and then it
Yeah.
got so popular that they figured out, well, we'll make a WRT54L, which had Linux in it, so they could do that.
Right.
And then they turned this a bad situation into a good
Into
situation.
an actual product. Yeah.
Right. So Linux has got a lot of challenges with it that
Yeah.
way. There are ways through the forest, so to speak. It's got its own headaches. I mean, I don't think we're going to see quite the solidity of LAN and USB that Microsoft. They do more LAN and USB than anybody in the world.
Right.
Okay, because the PC is so
Yep.
many out there. It's going to be a challenge to go into new code space. There's things that were great, and we're going to have to make them better in this new solution, but there's other things that we're going to get when we change.
One of the questions on the forum, a very good one. Back in the old days, when we were boys, you used to get schematics in manuals. When did that trend happen in, and why?
Well, the biggest reason it happened was because products weren't repairable at the component level by most people. When we went from through-hole to surface mount was the first.
Right.
That's when it started to change. But the other place it started to change when we realized people were copying our products.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Right.
And literally, you could go in and down to the component level troubleshoot. And we spent a lot of time and a lot of money creating very complex troubleshooting trees. We used to do things like signature analysis for the digital ICs. And you could repair a product with down to the part level. Today, with bulk grid arrays and fine pitch surface mount and RoHS compatible solders, it's and QFNs and things like that, the DFNs, I should say, where the leads are underneath the part. It's very difficult unless you have exotic repair equipment to repair parts. And we don't want to have to sell the parts. You can't buy some of these parts in low volume in less than 20 weeks. So,
But there's no obligation to sell the parts if you publish a schematic, is there?
well, for our customers, if we say it's supportable down to the component level, yes, we have to help them repair it.
But why can't you just go, well, look, here's a schematic, but it's as is. Or here's a part of a schematic, it's as is.
It's
Like
a
we
lot of
no
work.
support intended. Is
We
that a
could do-
legal thing? Or?
No, it's not a legal thing. It's a
Huh?
matter of creating something we think is good for our customers.
Okay.
And we
Right.
think just throwing those stuff out there hurts our business, hurts our customers, because they're not getting
Interesting.
enough guidance to be able to repair the product correctly.
Got it. Right, so you think it could reflect on your reputation if you gave them the schematic and then hands off. Oh,
Keep
we
in mind, we
don't
have to
wanna-
support the product everywhere in the world. We have support in just about every country in the world. We are
Right.
the most supported products in test and measurement around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to create those service manuals. We used to translate them into multiple languages.
Yeah.
Okay, we had to support them. So when someone had a question about the schematic, we had to answer the phone, and those costs took away from creating great products.
Got it.
And so few people today, the reliability of our products is much higher today than it was 20, 30
True.
years ago.
Yeah.
They don't fail as often, and when they do fail, they don't have the facilities to repair them.
Got
It's
it.
just much more difficult. So we don't even repair our products when they come back. In many cases, we swap out
And
assemblies.
it'd be a board swap kind of thing.
It's something everybody's changed, but a lot of people complain about it because they want to repair it themselves, and then I don't think they realize how much more difficult that actually is to do than they think.
Yeah.
And for the small signal analog, if you're a trained analog engineer, I've repaired stuff without schematics. You just look inside.
Yeah,
and
of
see
course,
the
and you
flow.
follow it around,
Yeah, and you've
sniff
done that, I'm
around,
sure.
yep.
Yep, you can.
Yeah, follow your
or
nose.
even shotgun a few parts, you can fix
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But some of the parts, they're very specific, selected for us, and we would have to sell them for you to repair it if you wanted those
Right.
parts. And that's very expensive to do and maintain for the huge volume of products that we make.
What about just like theory of operation, block diagrams? That's
we do
gone the way
provide
of
that
the...
in some
You
some
do?
cases
You're
we do
still
provide it, yes.
providing some of that?
Product to product, we do provide some theory of
Right.
operation.
Okay.
Where we feel it benefits us in terms of creating a brand benefit, where we think
Right.
explaining how we do things differently and it's good, it helps. But we're not there to help them. We do get requests, for example, from a lot of our military customers, demand that we provide support for repair.
Interesting.
Because they don't want the thing
no, of
ever
course.
to
Yeah,
leave
yeah.
their facility. And we try to work with those people specifically, and we will actually provide internal documentation to key customers who make those kind of demands, and we feel it's the right thing to do. But for general, we don't do it.
How do you feel about the clones of your products? I mean, if you look at this, there's almost an exact clone from Seal, like the user interface.
Yes.
Like, not so much the performance of it, but, well, they try and match, but the user interface is almost identical.
Yes.
What do you guys think about that? Do you just laugh and go,
No, we don't laugh. We're very upset.
Oh,
because
very
we
upset.
spent a lot of money and time to create this thing. A lot of the
Right.
money and time today is in the user interface because it's one of the differentiators. And when someone copies it, they're stealing.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
And what we've learned, it's taken us a while to figure this out, but I was mentioning this to Simon today at breakfast. There are legal ways for us to protect ourselves. It's what's called a design patent.
Yep.
And we're starting to use them more.
You are.
Yes.
Well, a lot of people will be going, oh, design patents.
Design patents protect the way the front panel works,
Yep.
the way the product looks and feels.
Yep.
And they're actually created in China where a lot of the copying is going on, and they're very easy to prosecute.
Right.
Okay?
They're easy to prosecute in China.
In China, yes.
Really? I thought it was the opposite.
No, China has recognized that in order to become a world-class economy, they've got to protect this.
Interesting.
We do copyright patents. We have for a long time.
But you haven't done really design patents, so when you did this, you didn't
We didn't do a
patent
design patent on this. We didn't figure out that design patents were a valid thing to do until about 4 years ago.
Interesting,
Well after this product came
okay.
out.
So it's a modern phenomenon, really.
Well,
or you just didn't...
Our legal department
Yeah.
didn't want to do them because it wasn't effective until China passed a new design patent law
Got it.
that they're now
Okay.
enforcing.
Right.
And it's much less expensive to get a design patent than a regular patent, both the cost of creating it and the cost of submitting it.
Really?
And-
It's significantly different.
Well, for a regular patent, you have to write a complete treatise on how the thing works.
Right.
Enough so someone else can easily copy it.
Yep.
And one of the challenges with what do you call the other type of patent that you're more familiar with, is that you're providing a primer for people to copy your design. And so therefore, one of the other challenges with a regular patent is what's called observability. If you can't observe and know for sure that they use that, you can't patent it. Because all you're doing is teaching them how to copy you, and you can't stop them, because you can't prove it. You can't say, I think you're stealing my thing, but I can't prove it. So we do patents where it's fundamental to the feature of the product, but in many cases we don't. So for example, our new true form function generators use some proprietary technology. We could not patent that because we would have shown you how to do it.
Got it.
All right?
So you decided to keep it internal.
It's effectively like a trade secret.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But design,
Which is the opposite of a patent. You either patent it or you trade secret it.
well,
Or you open it.
there's actually a few other things out there as
Yeah.
tools for us, but the trade secret technically is supposed to be kept hidden even from people inside your company.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's like the formula for Coca-Cola. It has to be kept, it has to be limited in who can get access to it.
Okay. Is
Qualifies
this
it.
for a legal reason or just
Yes.
because... Oh, interesting.
Otherwise, it's common knowledge throughout your company how to do it. Then someone could leave.
And somebody leaves and takes it with you, and legally that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
Wow, okay. But if you... So legally, if you limited it within a certain team and that person never worked in that team and they went somewhere else and somehow they got that knowledge, that's deemed to be stealing?
No,
Would
if
that
they
be...
figured out another way, they
they
can use it. Yeah.
Right.
And eventually, all trade secrets. Eventually, everybody knows what Coke's made out of now. They hook up one of these pieces of what used to be Agilent. You can figure out it's got cloves and cinnamon and sugar and all those things. You know, it's not that hard to copy anymore.
Right.
That's the nature of trade secrets. They slowly leak out.
Yeah.
But all we're looking for is to keep people from rapidly copying our products. You know, a year after we come out with a product, they've got an identical one, and of course our customers think we OEM'd it from them, which is the most insulting part of it. Really, it's the exact opposite. They're stealing from us, and they think we're cheating and copying it, you know, from them, which is not what we want to have happen.
But I have to ask about the Rigol thing. You guys were Rigol were the OEM for
They were the
your
ODM.
scopes. Sorry, original design manufacturer.
Right.
But you guys helped them technically, I heard. So the rumor goes.
Yes, absolutely.
And in terms of design and manufacturing, you helped them. And do you feel like you've created a monster, or a monster competitor?
Well,
or what?
I can only say that relationship is no longer.
It's no longer existent.
Right.
Okay.
That's all I can say about it.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you?
I think in retrospect, we all agree that we shouldn't have done what we did, and we've made other plans since then to do things in a different way, a better way, and we're trying a different model to work with ODMs that's more effective.
Right. So you do work with ODMs still?
Absolutely.
And
Sure.
so what products? And can you
I'm
Off
not
the top.
obliged to.
Not
go
obliged
into,
to say, but
Yes.
some of them may not be
Well,
Keysight
we work
designed.
with ODMs because it's
Yeah.
a way for us to get more products out in less
Oh, of
time.
course, yeah.
And in some cases, they may have unique manufacturing technology,
Right.
for example, for ultra low cost.
Mhm.
And it allows us to expand our scope and get into more markets more quickly. And that's something that's sometimes more important than doing it ourselves.
Of course. Would you look at buying those companies? I know, do you guys buy
We
many
have.
companies these days?
We are growing our acquisition
Yep.
process.
Right.
I was telling Simon this morning, we used to have rules when we were part of Agilent that we wouldn't buy anything smaller than a $500 million.
Interesting.
was a
So there was a
certain-
monetary figure.
And the reason
Limit.
that was because the cost of integrating the company in is
Was too
fixed.
much.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's big or small, you still have to take whatever system they have and
Yep.
convert it to your system. So it costs almost as much to take a small company and bring it in as it does a big company.
Right.
And then when we realized that what that was doing, and our competitors were not following this plan, they were buying smaller companies,
Uh-huh.
we started to put much more demands on our acquisition team to be more effective at integrating into these companies, so
Got
that
it.
move that line down. Because in some cases, small companies have incredible technology,
Mhm.
and you don't want to OEM it from them. You want to own them and keep it for yourself.
Yep.
So we've purchased, Ixia, which is a big company. We bought Signadyne, small company, and where they have a key technology, we need to be successful
Mm-hmm.
quickly. It's a great way to get going, but it puts pressure on your acquisition team to integrate their HR, the finance model,
Mhm.
their benefits packages. In the case of Ixia, we bought Ixia, and we're rapidly moving people from facility to facility to cut our overhead costs
Right.
without disrupting their development process. And that's something that we're very proud that transition is going much faster than it would have when we were part of Agilent, for example. Agilent, they said it would take a year, it took 2. It's something like Ixia, I think they said it would take a year, and now it's taking 9 months.
Okay, so you're moving towards a position where you can more cheaper and more readily acquire companies that have cool tech, which you guys are
And smaller
interested
size.
and smaller size.
Well, now we're a pure T&M play, and with
Yep.
T&M, someone develops a new technology, you
Mhm.
got to pay attention to that. You
Yep.
got to be able to bring it into the fold. And in some cases, it's a big company like Ixia, who is the world leader in network security,
Mhm.
and all of our products have LAN in them. And you heard about the shutdown in the U.S. where someone took over all the webcams.
Yes, yeah, the
right?
webcams, yeah.
We can't tell our customers we didn't take care of that. So
Yep.
Ixia is a big part of our
Got it.
strategy to have the world's best internet security in all of our products and sell internet security technology
That's
as well.
interesting, because you don't want your multimeter to become a machine. For not that there's huge volume in these, like there is webcams, but
Right.
still. Yeah.
Well, but it's also, if you look at the data, the measurement data that's inside these things, they don't want that stuff leaking out.
That's proprietary. That's company proprietary. If I had my multimeter and someone was spying inside,
Right, they could tell how many products
Yeah.
you manufactured a day, for example, if they could crack that,
Yep.
and they don't want that information getting out.
Yep.
And there's a lot more to it too. I mean, just going forward, internet security, as the Internet of Things becomes pervasive, is going to be more and more important to test internet security as well.
Yep.
So we're paying attention.
Is there a point to buying a company and leaving them alone?
We've done that as well. but
You've done that?
Less
Less
commonly.
so?
We're looking for a strategic fit
Yep.
that makes sense to make us a stronger overall company.
Got it.
I mean, we're not looking just to bring the cash that they make in. That's
Mhm.
not a kind of acquisition we do very often.
Right.
At all, really. We're looking for things that enhance our overall company, that fit with everything else. So leaving them alone, if it's a segment of the market that's really independent, but we need to have an access to it, we might do that, but I haven't seen that yet.